There are two ways things can be broken. The first is loud, easy to see, like smashing something. That's what most people expect when they face trouble. Anger, harsh words, chaos. The second way is quiet, clever, and planned. It's what people never see coming, and it's the way Machiavelli, a master gardener of human nature, truly understood. Because real power doesn't shout. It often smiles. It nods. It agrees right before it quietly removes what makes you important to them. If you truly want to deal with someone who harms you, don't argue with them. Don't expose their faults to everyone. Don't even warn them. Just remain polite and let their world slowly fall apart, piece by piece, because of your quiet refusal to react. Machiavelli knew that the most effective way to handle bad behavior is never emotional. It's strategic, and it's done by those who have nothing left to prove. When you deal with someone who harms you in a polite, quiet way, you're not just correcting their actions, you're taking back control over your own feelings. And to someone who lives to be in charge, to get attention, or to feed their own pride, that is far worse than any fight. So how does it work? It starts with one big change. You stop reacting to their chaos and start subtly managing the environment they rely on. Because some people aren't just difficult, they depend on you. They depend on your anger, on your forgiveness, on your need for them to see you, hear you, or understand you. And the moment you take away that need, they lose their grip on you. That's when you begin to address the problem. With calm eyes, a pleasant tone, and just enough distance to make them question if you ever truly cared about their presence in your garden. There's something strong about politeness mixed with indifference. It makes people deeply unsure because it forces them to face the one truth they fear most. You're no longer emotionally tied to them. That calm smile you give them now, it's no longer a sign of friendship, it's a mask. A clear signal that they've been moved from the center of your attention to the edge of your strategy. And they will feel this shift long before you ever raise your voice. If these strategies for cultivating consequences, not conflict, are making you rethink how you handle difficult situations, you're on the path to true wisdom. Hit that like button now to support this content, and make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next deep dive into mastering your personal power. Your support helps us share this crucial wisdom. Machiavelli believed that every interaction is a quiet negotiation of power. And power, when used correctly, should always feel natural and unavoidable, never just a sudden reaction. This is why polite, quiet action works so well. Because it's clean, it's elegant, and it's very powerful. You don't solve problems by proving them wrong, you solve them by showing they no longer matter to your garden. Imagine this. Someone makes a rude comment in a group meeting. They expect you to get angry, embarrassed, or to defend yourself. They want attention. But instead, you smile calmly. You nod slightly. You calmly say, "You might have a point." And then you turn your attention to someone else. Someone they secretly wish they were like. Someone who is now getting the respect they once craved. In one calm move, you've done three things. Refused to give them power, subtly boosted someone else in their place, and kept your calm appearance. That's not just a smart move, that's strategic action. And you've won, without raising your voice. This is Machiavelli's genius. Use their expectations against them. They expect a fight. Give them gentle agreement. They expect you to resist. Give them quiet stillness. They expect to get even. Give them calm politeness, mixed with distance. And while they waste their energy trying to figure out your strategy, you're already 3 steps ahead, quietly removing their supporters, tightening their circle, and slowly, politely, making them unimportant. That's strong action done right. Here's another method Machiavelli would love. Agree with them openly, then quietly remove their influence. Smile in the meeting. Support their idea. Make them feel safe. Then quietly talk to the people around them. Ask subtle questions. Plant small seeds of doubt. Gently move the attention away from them, without them even noticing it's gone. By the time they realize what happened, they're surrounded by people who no longer fully trust them, but who still smile to their face. That's not drama. That's smart design, like a gardener reshaping a landscape. But here's the part most people never understand. Dealing with a problem isn't about the person who caused it. It's about fixing the pattern. You don't deal with someone because you're hurt. You deal with them because they've become a threat to your inner peace, your power, or your potential. And when that moment comes, you don't announce it. You withdraw. You change the topic. You become politely distant. And in doing so, you deny them the one thing they crave most, your emotional attention. Let's be clear. Polite, quiet action is not weakness. It is self-control, used as a powerful tool. It is calm grace, used as armor. And it is how the smartest minds have dealt with difficult people without ever needing to fight openly. Because when someone expects a big fight and you give them calm distance, you don't just confuse them, you stop them. They begin to question your every action. Was that smile real? Was that compliment true? Do they even see me anymore? That's psychological strategy, and Machiavelli would approve of it. You want to handle someone who harms you? Don't shout. Don't threaten. Don't block or expose. Just stop being emotionally available. Start being strategically polite. And when they slowly fall apart under the weight of your quietness, when they struggle in your absence, when they ask for the drama they once mocked, you'll know it worked. You've handled the problem beautifully, and they never even saw how. There's a strange quietness that follows carefully planned action. Not the quietness of peace, but the quietness of confusion. They look at you and think, why aren't they angry? Why aren't they fighting back? And that's the genius of it. You've taken away the one thing they were depending on, your emotional reaction. Now they're stuck with politeness and deep worry. Because the moment you stop reacting, you become unreadable. And the unreadable person always has the advantage. Machiavelli believed that power should never be shown off. It should be felt, quietly, naturally, like gravity. So when someone disrespects you, manipulates you, or tries to control you, your response isn't anger. It's removal. Not just of your attention, but of their reason to be in your life. And here's how you do it. You start with social cooling. You don't completely cut them off. You simply stop making them feel warm and welcome. That means you still greet them, but with polite, formal words. You still speak, but never first. You're not cold, but you're no longer friendly. And people feel this shift deeply. It's like walking into a room that used to feel like home, and now feels empty. You haven't attacked them, but you've quietly removed the emotional warmth. They'll smile. You'll smile back. But your smile won't reach your eyes, and that will make them deeply unsure, because now they don't know where they stand, and being unsure gives you power. Another tactic is mirroring their lack of respect, but politely. Give them exactly what they give you, but in a very polite way. If they ignore your ideas, you start politely agreeing with their ideas in public. Make them the face of decisions that go wrong. Give them the chance to speak when things are difficult, always with a smile, always with apparent support. But your support feels too easy, too eager. They'll sense something is wrong, but won't be able to point to a single thing you did, because you've matched their energy and added a twist of smart planning. Then use empty praise with full purpose. Praise them often, but vaguely. Tell them, you handled that situation very interestingly. Your leadership style is definitely unique. You're always so confident, it's admirable. To anyone listening, you're being kind. But underneath, it's full of hidden meaning. At the same time, in your own work, be perfect. Make no errors. Show quiet excellence. Be impossible to criticize. That difference between your gentle praise and your quiet strength eats away at people. Because deep down they know you don't need their approval anymore. You've moved beyond them. And they feel it in your tone, in your timing, in your stillness. This is Machiavellian strategy. You don't fight to win. You create a reality where you already won. and they can't figure out how it happened. And here's the secret behind it all. Politeness is the perfect cover for strong action. People expect kindness to be emotional, but when your kindness is precise, planned, and calm, it becomes powerful. They ask themselves, are they being polite, or are they planning something? And you never answer that question. You just keep acting, smiling, silent, polished, untouchable. Let's go deeper. Machiavelli would remind you, the person who keeps their emotions private holds the room. Because most people show their desperate needs. They talk too much. They complain. They show their insecurities. But you say less. You speak slower. You always look like you're about to say something important, but never do. And that quiet suspense, that's what weakens them. Not with fear, with uncertainty. Here's what carefully planned, quiet action really looks like. They say something rude. You laugh softly and say, "That's a fascinating opinion. I love how confident you are." Then calmly change the subject. Or better, ask them to explain their rude comment in front of others. Let them ramble. Let them show their true self. You sit back, calm, relaxed. You didn't attack them. You gave them space to look bad themselves, politely. And everyone felt the shift, even if no one can explain it. That's very precise. That's Machiavellian. And now comes the final tactic, exit without a clear ending. This is the strongest move. After all the polite distance, the calm maneuvering, and the graceful repositioning, you leave. But not in a dramatic way. You simply stop being involved with them. No last words, no angry stare, no big goodbye, just a perfectly timed quietness that follows a period of calm, strong behavior. And the moment they realize you're no longer easy to reach, that you've emotionally left without warning, their whole world around you collapses. Because what they thought was just a small problem was actually a deep dependence. And now that you're gone, they're left questioning who they are, without your reactions to define them. By now you understand, the art of this strategic action isn't about doing damage. It's about letting people create their own problems in your presence, while you remain calm. Machiavelli would say that true power lies in the ability to shift how people see things, not just how they act. So when you act with quiet strength, you're not only managing your own image, you're changing theirs. And that change is what lasts. Because even after you're gone, their reputation might struggle, their confidence might crack, their power might slowly disappear, and no one can blame you directly. Because you didn't attack, you simply allowed the truth to show itself. Let's now move into the next layer, turning their strengths into weaknesses without ever fighting them directly. This is the ultimate form of polite, quiet action. You use their pride against them. You let them expose themselves by doing exactly what they think they're best at. A powerful move is to amplify their confidence in public. This is the opposite of what they expect. Instead of disagreeing with someone who is your rival, you praise them. But you do it in a way that feels a little off. Tell the overly aggressive person they're wonderfully assertive during a discussion about how to solve problems peacefully. Compliment the quick-thinking person on their bold decisions right after a poor choice. Applaud the proud person for their fearless honesty in front of people who secretly dislike them. Every word you say sounds like support. But it's like a spotlight, a magnifying glass. And under it, they feel exposed. You're not just being polite. You're being very precise. Because what you're doing is this. You're using honesty as a tool. And the more truly you smile, the more worried they become. Eventually, they won't trust your praise. They won't trust your quietness. They won't trust your presence. They'll slowly fall apart, not from what you've done, but from what they think you might be doing. That's the brilliance of this strategy. Machiavelli wrote that people judge more by what they see than by what they truly know. In other words, how you appear is stronger than what you actually do. So when you act with quiet strength, you're not tearing down their standing directly. You're guiding the audience to do it for you. And how do you do that? You use questions. Next, you use smart questions to reveal flaws. Ask questions you already know the answer to, but ask them publicly. For example, what was your main reason behind that difficult decision? I'd love to understand your thinking. Or, that big idea you mentioned, could you walk us through the detailed steps again? Or, I noticed the result didn't quite match the goal. Was that planned? These are not attacks, they're invitations. Invitations for the other person to speak freely and show their lack of depth. You don't challenge, you simply ask. You let the weight of their lack of skill become clear while you sit back and listen, respectfully, quietly, almost admiringly. That's like psychological demolition. And you did it with a few words and a calm face. But here's where the problem is completely solved. You don't stay to celebrate, you don't wait for applause, you don't linger for approval, you exit with grace, even in the middle of a conversation if you must. You nod, you thank them, you leave. Because the mark of someone truly powerful is that they never need to stay and watch the fall they quietly arranged. They already know the outcome, they planned for it. Let's go one level deeper. What do you do when your opponent tries to make up? What if they sense they're losing control and try to win you back? You accept it. You accept their apology. You smile. You act thankful. But you never, not even once, return to the close connection they once had with you. You respond slower. You don't reach out first. You become the polite version of a stranger. That's the strongest kindness. Because it confirms their worst fear. They were forgiven, but never regained true access. And that isn't just a small correction. It's a deep lesson. Machiavelli wouldn't yell at the person who caused trouble. He'd find a way to quietly move them to a less important position. He'd welcome them publicly and let them slowly lose power privately. Because isolation doesn't always need to be physical. Sometimes, the strongest isolation is emotional. You didn't yell, you didn't expose, you didn't threaten. You kept your calm mask on, and let that mask quietly drive them unsure. This is where power becomes lasting. Not just a moment of dealing with trouble, but a reputation. A reputation that says, they don't react, they remove, they don't attack, they vanish, they don't speak, but everyone listens. And now, the final principle, the one most people will never have the self-control to use. When the strong action is complete, say nothing. Let them talk. Let them try to make things look different. Let them beg, accuse, or fall silent. But you move on. Quietly, elegantly, with no need to explain yourself. Because polite, strong action only works if the quietness is maintained after the storm. Machiavelli understood. Real power isn't shown in how you punish others. It's shown in how little you need to. By now, they felt it. The shift. The quietness. The smile that no longer reaches your eyes. They don't know what changed. They just know that the room feels colder when you enter and empty when you leave. This is not just a correction, this is precision. Because if you followed every step correctly, you haven't just removed yourself emotionally, you've reshaped how others perceive them. You've rewritten the story of who holds power, without a single direct confrontation. And now, they're trying to manage the damage. Alone, confused, unsure of everyone, especially themselves. That's not just a small defeat, that's a psychological masterpiece. Machiavelli's genius was this. He never needed to be the loudest voice in the room. He simply knew how to make others question what they thought they understood. And once doubt takes root, control follows. Because the most polite way to deal with someone is to let them expose their own instability, while you remain calm and graceful. They gossip, you don't respond. They make fun, you compliment. They attack, you thank them. You don't match their energy. You drown it in poise. You become a mirror they can't crack, no matter how hard they try. Here's what happens next, and Machiavelli knew it well. They begin to cause problems for themselves. You don't have to isolate them, they isolate themselves. They become worried, trying to figure out your quietness. They lose focus, making mistakes just to prove they're still in control. They become visibly upset, and others start noticing. All because you removed the one thing that made them stable: your emotional involvement. People don't realize how much they depend on your presence until your presence becomes calm and strong. Not warm, not angry, not reactive, just neutral. That calmness is powerful for unsure people because it forces them to face what they fear most. They no longer matter. They are no longer a threat. You are no longer playing their game. Now we move into the final phase: erasure. Polite, strong action doesn't end with them feeling bad. It ends with their absence. You stop mentioning them. You stop watching them. You stop referring to their name in any space that once showed their importance. You don't celebrate their downfall. You act like it never happened, like they never existed. That is the final act of power, to erase someone without anger. Because anger gives them a lasting memory. Silence buries them. And when they try to bring you up, when they try to pull you back into a reaction, you stay calm, you stay light. You respond with a phrase that shuts down egos instantly. "Oh, I haven't thought about them in ages." That line doesn't just hurt. It destroys whatever false story they were holding on to. They were planning a big confrontation, you forgot there even was one. Machiavelli would remind you, the purpose of this strong action is not revenge, it's reputation. Because when others see that you can deal with someone quietly, without chaos, without fighting back, without even getting angry, they begin to fear your quietness more than they fear most people's anger. That's the level you rise to, where people hesitate to cross you not because you're loud, but because they know you'll never give them another chance. You become untouchable, unbothered, unmatched. Let's be very clear about something. Most people cause their own downfall trying to bring others down. They get angry, they argue, they show their weaknesses in the name of fairness. But Machiavelli's student, you never lower yourself. You rise. Not out of pride, but out of smart planning. Because emotion is for beginners, and you are building an empire, not just showing off. Your power isn't in how you punish. It's in how little you need to seek revenge at all. You've already won. You knew it the moment you stopped needing them to understand your quietness. So what happens to them now? They'll keep trying to pull you back. Not always with attacks, sometimes with compliments, sometimes with apologies, sometimes with sadness. But none of it matters. Because you're not playing the same game anymore. You're not trying to win. You're proving you've already moved beyond. Your kindness was the warning. Your calm presence was the answer. And now your absence is the tomb. Machiavelli's real lesson wasn't about war or politics. It was about understanding the weakness of those who crave control and never expect to lose it politely. And when you master this, you no longer need to defend yourself. Your opponents dismantle themselves in the quietness you leave behind. You don't just destroy reputations. You become a haunting memory. Not because you're mean, but because you were kind. Until they mistook your kindness for something permanent. So here's your final move. Say nothing. Show nothing. Lose nothing. And let the quiet echo of your absence be the loudest thing they ever hear. That is Machiavellian strength. Polished, patient, permanent. The journey to building this kind of powerful, unshakable presence, where your true self becomes a force others adapt to, is a profound path to self-mastery. If today's insights have resonated with your desire for true control, you're ready to cultivate this lasting influence. Here are the final principles for your alchemist of character. Number 1, the fragile metal. Understand why fixed goodness can be a weakness. Number 2, strategic ingredients. Make your values a careful choice, not an automatic reaction. Number 3, craft your outer image. Use appearance as a strong shield. Number 4, hidden strength. Use good qualities as camouflage for your true power. Number 5, control the story. Use moral words to guide public perception. Machiavelli's final lesson: be respected, even if it costs you affection. Be powerful, even if it costs you friends. Be real, even if it costs you applause. Because applause ends, power echoes. Here's how to ensure your transformation continues. Hit the like button if this deep dive into Machiavellian wisdom has helped you understand how to forge your alchemist of character. Your support helps share these vital lessons. Subscribe to the channel and activate notifications. Your journey to mastering unseen influence and becoming an alchemist of character begins now. I'll see you in the next build.